Nowadays in the Devil May Cry community, the Royal Guard style is known for being that one style that can single-handedly break the entirety of Devil May Cry's 3, 4, and 5, using countless royal blocks and releases dealing high damage to most enemies and bosses, utilizing that high risk and reward style. I mean, bruv, there's a shit ton of memes describing how overpowered it is. But the high risk factor is what turned a lot of people off from even touching it, yours truly included. From the release of Devil May Cry 3 all the way to pleading Capcom to put out a Devil May Cry 5 logo, it wasn't used by the broader DMC community. The only folks using it were a select number of players. The ones doing the crazy combo mads on YouTube and those competing in True Style tournaments. And I'm talking about the old True Style tournaments that started from 2005, right at the start of YouTube's golden age. All that changed on the one faithful day of March 8th, 2019, the release date of the real Devil May Cry 5. Not only bringing back the stylish gameplay we all know and love, it also found just the right balance between in-depth combo matting and accessibility, allowing the once dusted Royal Guard to be a whole-ass staple of the Devil May Cry series. Hello, it's the Devil Joe, back again with a brand new video, and today I'm gonna be glazing Devil May Cry 5's Royal Guard. You might be asking, why is that, Joey? Because it's actually that one Royal Guard variation that teaches you how to use all other Royal Guard variations by changing very little, and I mean little, of how the style plays and functions. Let's talk about it. Our first point is accessibility and enemy design. Before, the style used to work exactly like this. Whenever you normal block, it winds up chip damaging your own health bar, slightly reducing your chances of survival. Worst of all, it can actually break at any point depending on the attack, taking away a bigger portion of the health bar, staggering Dante to ultimately get the wacky woohoo pizza man slapped across the room if any other demons are in his vicinity. Now that's a pain in the dick, especially on Dante must die. I mean, there's obviously the get good scrub argument. Royal blocks and releases breaks the game. Sure, it does. But whenever a block button is handicapping my ass, I'm sure as fuck never touching that shit again. Not to mention that magical clank sounding parry requires me to master timing that is way tighter than Prime Lana's. Same thing goes for that counter that is.
It's as satisfying to me as coming is.
So I'm obviously gonna stick to the melee heavy sword master or dodge happy trickster, with the occasional gun kata gunslinger. Itsuno himself might have known that the most overpowered ability is being parked aside because of that tight-ass timing, and punishing consequences that are borderline brutal at times, causing the man to make a slight yet key adjustment. The standard block still takes up a resource. This time it's the devil trigger instead of the health bar. The DT will gradually deplete if your timing is off for a royal block. The only time the guard will break is when your DT runs out. It'll definitely stagger your ass. Here's why this change matters more than you think. Chip damage already turned many people off from using Royal Guard. Because of the reasons I already stated, replacing the resource from Dante's vitality to the devil inside of his allows you to dip your toes into this high risk, high reward, big dick energy world of blocking and countering everything. After all, Devil Trigger has always been the expendable resource that's easy to fill up. By taunting or just fighting enemies, dodging them, simple parries, in a way it's a resource most folks are willing to bet on. A lot more than the actual thing that's keeping you alive in the game. Inviting players over to experiment and play around, while eventually experiencing that smokin' sexy clang, without the constant fear of being low on health or breaking a simple guard. Because of having no clue why, now the guard has a much more justifiable reason for breaking. Now this is the part where I would say DMC 5's block timing is a lot more relaxed than it was in DMC 3 and 4. After a couple of playthroughs of these three Devil May Crys, I've come to find out the block timings are exactly the same. There is only one thing that makes the timings feel more forgiving than they seem to be. It's that enemy design. In the past 2 DMC games, the attack patterns were fast, unpredictable, in fact too unpredictable for some people to perfect block, especially Devil May Cry 4. And oh lord, don't get me started on DMC 3 Soul Eaters. They just went straight to suck your soul. God damn it, Itsuno, how was that fair? The Vanguards were straight up guard smashers at times. You just had to make sure you were exploiting iframes. Oh, do not get me started on the anti-Royal Guard Virgil. If you manage to block any of his attacks, you got some really tight twitch reflexes. Or you have superhuman time-stopping abilities. It has to be one of these two. Devil May Cry 5, however, has a ton of enemies and bosses designed around teaching you how to time blocks accordingly. I'm referring to the game's Pride variants, and no, I'm not gonna pronounce that. And I'm not forgetting about the Angelo's Cavalier included, Impusa Queen, Buzzsaw Dudes, Virgil himself. All those demons and bosses have one thing in common: easily telegraphed attacks that you can easily recognize the patterns of, while learning when would be the right time to go for a royal block. Ultimately getting in that clang, or a royal release before trying to take on some of their more surprise attacks, allowing you to grow your own confidence using this trick. At the end of the day, messing up is an inevitability, but hey, the level 3 Royal Revenge ultimately has you covered. The Bruce Lee Fist of Fury inspired Hadouken ending offensive is a great holy shit I got no clue what to do button, dealing some remarkable damage to any demon dumb enough to give you a hard ass time. Refilling DT that might have been lost because of the standard guard. I already went on about how one simple tweak and ultimates wound up making the thing a lot easier to use. Here's the important question that comes to mind.
How did it feel to you?
This is where my second point comes in. Satisfaction in blocks and releases. How good does it feel to perfectly negate and release nukes, ash, judgment nuts, random slashes? Oh boy, let me tell you, getting that perfect is nothing short of an absolute masterclass in cinematic fortitude. Getting a royal block is kind of a dopamine rush because of that orgasmic as fuck clash sound, and how it completely makes any of the attacks you get hit with become completely irrelevant, while breaking a lot of these Sonic the Hedgehog ripoff lizard dudes, opening them up for combos, adding a crap ton of baggage to Virgil's already mounting pile of trauma, makes you feel like an unstoppable dreadnought that can't possibly be fazed by anything. Because of that, you find yourself always hyped up to get that perfect block. Even the game hypes you up by giving you hella style points for keeping it stylish while making Dante look like he doesn't give two shits about these life-threatening encounters. This whole defensive shit might seem like it doesn't fit Dante's wacky woohoo nature, but in actuality it fits it perfectly like a glove. For the Bruce Lee fan he truly is, now that I mentioned Royal Guard's biggest inspiration, the art of Jeet Kune Do, in other words, the intercepting fist. An accurate depiction would be Royal Load Dumping Supreme. Yes, you can release on enemies, sure, it can be a useful offensive, but it does not matter what level your own revenge meter is at. If you manage to release at the exact same time as the attack that's about to hit you, you get many variations of the counter that's way more satisfying than any gooning session could possibly be. Some folks use it for mobility purposes and some just use it for style, while others can use it to completely decimate every one of their foes in an immaculate display of pumping loads till the very end. No matter what, at the end of the day, we're all satisfied and set free, reaping a shit ton of rewards in the process. Another thing making DMC5's Royal Guard one of the greatest block and counter systems to be put in any modern video game is the ridiculously insane high reward factor. Stall points, DT gauge, most of all an insanely powerful revenge meter. Every time you wind up normal blocking, sure, it'll fill up a tiny bit of the revenge meter, a small fraction of it, without without adding a whole bunch of style points, vaporizing a tiny chunk of the DT gauge. Once you pull off that royal block, you find Dante racking up hella style points, getting huge chunks of Devil Trigger back, even if you have the form active. Unlike the other games where the DT runs out, when you have the form turned on, so DMC5 allows you to stay in perma DT through royal blocks alone. Shout out to my buddy Quads for pointing it out. Not to mention filling up that rage meter, immensely opening up opportunities for high damaging release attacks, taking out most enemies while deleting most boss health bars. But if you perfectly time that counter attack, with the exact moment he gets hit, the style points rack up higher. Hell, you can even take out hordes of enemies using royal release. Sure, your revenge meter has been spent. I mean, you literally emptied the tank. In exchange, you got a huge refill of the Devil Trigger gauge, you farmed an ungodly amount of style points, while stopping entire attacks from bosses, staggering them, breaking their hopes and dreams, while still feeling better than coming. With the changes in the Royal Guard style, some might think that it changed completely. To that I say no. It's still the same exact style. In fact, DMC5 has true royal integrity, leading to transferability into Devil May Cry's 3 and 4. Despite moving the chip damage from the health bar to DT, the style works the same. Normal blocks consume the resource. Instead of random guard breaks happening, they happen after you spend your whole Devil Trigger gauge. The timing of royal blocks largely remained the same. The only difference is DMC5's overall game design does a much better job of teaching you how to block, release, especially Cavalier Angelo and Virgil. Plus, the Angelos help your ass to learn the art of Jeet Kune Do Royal Guard. It doesn't even hurt that the RG skills that you pick up are ridiculously transferable over into the previous two games. I mean, after practicing guards in DMC5, I was surprised to find myself royal blocking fools in Devil May Cry 3, while royal releasing a fucking army of demons, wrecking their shit while going up against the behemoth Beowulf in Royal Guard if it wasn't for DMC5's RG variation. Dude, I was shocked to find myself doing anything similar to that in Devil May Cry 4, making DMC5's take on the infamous beat a game button a great lesson in how to balance accessibility while maintaining a high skill ceiling. The lesson in question being all what it takes is a very simple and tiny tweak inviting everyone in to take on the high risk reward playstyle this nuke stopping ability has to offer. DMC5's Royal Guard is one of the many things that encapsulates Devil May Cry 5's core approach to accessibility of some pretty in-depth tech and hard as fuck mechanics to newcomers to a franchise, while also teaching these mechanics to longtime fans that might have not even touched said tricks, allowing more players to get used to the royal blocks and release timings. It doesn't even hurt that the level 3 ultimate is a pretty useful oh shit I have no clue what to do button, instead of a shield that don't work too well or an armor that depletes all your revenge meter. Another way of easing players into the style while handing over a satisfying as fuck royal release. All qualities that make Devil May Cry 5's Royal Guard truly beautiful. With that out of the way, we come to the end of this video. What were your guys' thoughts on it? And which Devil May Cry game has the best Royal Guard? Let me know in the comments down below. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button and smash that subscribe button royal release style. At 10,000 subscribers, I'll pull off a whole ass Dante combo video wearing this entire getup. Trust me, we're pretty damn close. Ring the bell icon with an ebony and ivory bullet to get notified on whenever I upload a brand new Devil May Cry or other action game video. This has been the Devil Joe signing out.